How are you doing? I'm back. I was only gone for like 2 seconds. If you are joining me from the Grant podcast over there from Kitsap Public Health, you know what time it is. It is the first Tuesday of the month. It is December 6th. It's 3:05 in Kitsap County, 42 degrees. We have our very favorite librarian with us today, Priyashari. How are you doing today?
I'm okay. I'm not a huge fan of the air horns for 42 degrees, though. It's like too cold to be out of my house right now.
It is cold, but the air horns for 42 is because we've been experiencing 29, right? So
That
40
is true. That is true.
feels like 80.
Okay. Well, it makes you grateful, I suppose. Yeah.
Well, if there's no precipitation and
Mm.
it's not freezing, we got to take small victories.
You know what? Yeah. Yeah. You've changed my mind. Air horns it is.
I'm a glass half full type of person.
There we go. How are you doing today?
Oh, you know what? I am doing good. Whenever I can share out I share out information, that's what we do. But whenever I can share out like money opportunities, I'm like extra good.
Mhm.
So Jessica Guidry from Kitsap Public Health had sent that email about an hour ago, and it was like, you know what? I think I could squeeze a podcast in before, our time together. And I went over by 3 minutes, but good stuff. It was a
Okay.
good cause, right?
It's good information. I'll have to go back and watch that. It seems like a really good opportunity.
And it's a nice short one too. It's like 20 minutes. That's it. I just literally go over the grant. So
Cool.
I think a lot of folks experience a lot of fear when they're applying for grants or
Mhm.
contracts, and they haven't done it.
Mhm.
There's a lot of big language and big syllable words, in there. And so if you can go and demystify it and just make it a little easier, I think it helps.
Nice, nice. Well, thank you for doing that. I'm sure that'll help me when I'm working through reading about that as well. It can be a really complicated process for a lot of people, even just like you said, to sort through like the jargon in the applications.
Mhm. And it's easy. This one's pretty easy.
Yeah.
So,
Nice.
and I like to go through and give examples on how, like, if we're going to apply for it, but how we are going to answer those questions, right? Because sometimes, like, oh,
Mhm.
what do I even say, and how does that work? How does it align? So I think
Yeah.
I'll give examples like that. So I was doing that with Tony Ives was on, KCR executive director, and kind of giving us a little sneak peeks of the community needs assessment data. And I was
Oh,
like,
neat.
oh, we can use this in regards to transportation and yada, yada, yada. So,
Mm.
how might we use this information? So just kind of going over that. So pretty cool. But how you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. It's like wild to think that it's December already. Yeah.
No, I was
um,
just carving pumpkins.
I know it feels like that, right?
It's kind of sad.
Yeah. Yeah, it's always interesting because I'm gonna go see my family back east next week, and both my sisters and my mom have December birthdays, and so the end of the year is also like the big birthday month.
Ah,
And so I'm like, man, end of year, holidays, everyone's aging. It's cold. There's a lot going on right now. But
so
it's a good time. Yeah.
where's back east? Is it snowy where you're going?
Um, I'm just like the New York, Connecticut area. I don't know that it's currently snowing. It gets cold there, but it doesn't rain quite as much as it does here. So I'm excited to wear a coat that is not inherently waterproof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm from Buffalo, and they had about 8 to 10 feet, I think, a few weeks ago. So,
Yeah, we're not nearly that bad. Goodness
well,
gracious.
good for that.
Yeah.
Let's get into it this month. It is December. What is going on? All things library. Let us know.
Yes, so I have a few things I want to update y'all. We have our December Inspire that's at all of your library locations and available online as well. We've got a cozy little graphic on the front that tells you it is indeed cold outside, but one way to stay warm and entertained is with book bundles. And if you haven't heard about it already, you haven't been watching this podcast or listening to it because I've talked about it before. But as a reminder, Book Bundles is a service that all KRL locations offer. It is through an online web form, which I can show you a little later, or you can just stop in your branch or call in. Basically, you just tell us a little bit about what you want to read or watch or listen to or learn about, and your library staff will make you a curated bundle of 3 to 10 items on that. And then we'll put on hold for you, and you can come pick it up whenever you're ready. It's at krl.org/bundles. I'll find that link and pop it in the chat there. But this is just sort of our little highlight because it's a cool way to, get a nice reading list or watching list or listening list in front of you at a time where you're probably pretty busy. I know the holidays can be really busy for a lot of folks, especially if you've got big families. Thank you, Mara, for putting that link in there. So this is a nice way if you're like, hey, I really want to spend my winter break watching action movies, and I don't have the energy to make a list of it myself. Hey, library staff, can you make me a list of, 80s action movies? We can do that for you. Or if you want to read, yeah, I know, right? Or if you want to read some cozy holiday themed mysteries, maybe because you're gonna have a few days off, or in the event that we get another snow day or a couple of days, you can put that in your book bundle request, and we'll make a little bundle for you. So that's really a lovely service. I like to make the bundles. It helps me learn about different genres and authors and topics that I don't necessarily engage with. So it's a really cool service. Front page of Inspire here and on our website. I'll just mention a couple of events that we have coming up this month. It's a pretty light month because end of the year, we all are kind of hibernating at this point. But we do have a few book groups in the Bremerton area, none at the downtown branch because our usual day for our book group is actually the day after Christmas. So we've canceled that one. But there are a few book groups at the Sylvan Way location. And again, you do not need to be signed up at any specific branch to go to programs or events that are there. It's just if you want to go over there, you're more than welcome to. So there's 3 book groups at Sylvan Way, which is in East Bremerton, one on December 10th, where they're going to read Nothing to See Here by Kevin Wilson. On December 20th, which is a Tuesday, we have the Sylvan Way nonfiction book group, and that's just sharing your favorite nonfiction book that you've read this year. So there's no one specific title. And then on the 26th, I got to check if Sylvan's actually going to do that book group or not, because that is the day after Christmas. It's the bestseller book group. They'll discuss The Sixth Extinction by Elizabeth Kolbert. I'm going to double check that one. But they're all on our website and in Inspire here as well. You can visit the web pages or check Inspire for the times and if there is registration required. So those are at Sylvan Way. And then we have a couple other programs I wanted to highlight because they just seem really fun. For kiddos, if you have kids in your life or ones you think might be interested, we have Lego Club, which happens on Wednesdays. And that is the first Wednesday of the month at downtown Bremerton, right here where I am. So that'll be tomorrow at 4 p.m. And that's for sort of grades K through 5. And then on the 14th, Wednesday the 14th at 2 p.m. at Sylvan Way. So you've got a couple options for kiddos to get some creative exploration time with Legos, which is really neat. I love a good Lego party. Mm-hmm. And then one really sweet, lovely one for younger kiddos, ages 0 to 5. We're going to have a New Year's Eve celebration on Saturday the 31st.
Wow.
Right on New Year's Eve. It's hard to stay up late when you have little ones. They're conked out by 8 p.m. So this is a New Year's Eve celebration at 11:30 a.m. That one is in Silverdale, 11:30, and that's for ages 0 through 5. So it's a family-friendly New Year celebration. There's songs, rhymes, and a little dance party as you count down to noon. And then for grades pre-K through 2 at Sylvan Way at 11:15 a.m. So if you'd like to bring your little one to a New Year's Eve party on New Year's Eve, there's a couple options there, either in Silverdale or at Sylvan Way in Bremerton. All the details for those can be found in our Inspire or on our website, or just give your local branch a call and we can direct you that way. But yeah, that's there's a nice range of programs available. I won't read through all of them, but always check it out. And then we'll have January's Inspire ready in the last week of December for you to pick up at your local branch.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
There's a bit going on. It's it's a light month, but we got some New Year's Eve and we got this.
Yeah. There's something for everyone. Usually there's a lot for everyone, but we know that's the end of the year is this sort of a very reflective, family-oriented time for a lot of folks. And so they want to make sure that our offerings work with that as well. One note I didn't add is that several of our branches have expanded hours now, which you can always find on the back of our Inspires. We have the little map with all the locations, contact info, and hours. At the downtown branch, that means we're open until 6 p.m. Monday through Thursday, and then open until 2 on Saturday. So we've expanded an hour into the evenings at downtown, and then several other branches as well are open until either 6 or 7 during the weekdays, and 2 or 5 during the weekends. Yes.
Can you guide me with that on there?
Yeah, if you click on locations up at the very top, just the word locations, and it should bring you to a full list of all of our, yes, right there. And so that should show all of our hours for all of our locations. If you want to learn more about any specific branch, you can click on the name of it and it'll bring you to the branch page for that.
Oh, nice. Well, I love the scroll down, right? I'm like, oh, okay, I'm right downtown.
Yeah, it's handy. And I will note also, like, in the event that there is snow, we have already had a couple closures just this month already because of the snow that we got recently. Do feel free to call your local branch before you head down, because then you'll know whether we're open or not. And we always post it on our website so that you can either call and you'll hear an automated message that tells you whether we're like open on time, opening a little late, or closed completely for the day. And we'll have it on our website, sort of on like a splash at the very top of the page so that you know if there are any changes to the schedule.
Absolutely. And the Kitsap Regional Library reached out to me and asked me to actually share with the public that the library was going to have a late open last week. So subscribe, like, and share, and because we will be putting that information out also.
Yeah, thank you. And we try to get the word out as soon as we know what time we'll be opening or if we'll be opening that day. And these decisions are made sort of on a system-wide basis, but also to make sure that all the staff at each location can get there safely and that folks, won't end up slipping and falling if it's really icy out, that type of thing. So they're tough decisions to make, and we really do think very carefully about everyone's safety before opening or choosing not to open. But again, always feel free to get in touch or check our website before heading down, because we would hate for you to, trek all the way down to the branch and then see that we're closed.
Absolutely. And I love to see that the library is open so late on Saturday. 5 p.m. is awesome.
Yeah.
Silverton and Silverdale and Poulsbo.
Yeah, our large locations are typically open later on the weekends, on Saturdays, because we've got more staff to have that available. But we're slowly getting back to pre-pandemic hours, so it's really exciting.
Nice. Now, I was out in, I guess that's Poulsbo. Does the Poulsbo library look like a little cottage?
Kind of. I mean, it's big, so it looks like a big little cottage. It's lovely, though, yeah.
Yeah, I think I drove past it in the middle of the night on Friday night. I'm like, I think that said the library. I'm like, that thing looks really cute and cozy. Like, I really have to check out. I got to go on the tour of all the libraries. I've just been too busy to do it, but I am going to go on my trek and visit all the libraries.
Yeah, it is a very cozy branch. Once you go in, every location has its own sort of personality and identity, and we have a lot of things in common in that we share a collection and overall, branding and all that. But the hominess of each branch is slightly different, and that's a really nice thing.
So I think I got an email maybe about this Explore Fold 3, U.S. Military History and Records. What is this?
Yeah, so Fold 3 is a database that we subscribe to. It is, I'm just going to pull up to make sure that I am saying things correctly as I'm talking to you. Yes, so it is provided by Ancestry. So the Ancestry database, same folks. So it looks pretty much the same once you click into it. It's just the resources that are available through that database are specific to military records, military like photos, things related to the military. So while Ancestry is more of a general genealogy, census records, immigration records, birth, death records, that type of thing. Fold 3 is specific for military service. So that's really neat because we, live in a very active military community, especially if you're in the Bremerton area or live around Bangor. So we're really glad to be able to offer this resource that's so focused on a subject that impacts a lot of our community members very deeply. And so, yeah, it's run by Ancestry. If you have any questions navigating that, it's one of our newer subscriptions. So we are really excited for people to dig into it and sort of uncover all that you can get to. Yeah, it's really neat. We're glad to have it.
Yeah, I think this is pretty cool. One, like, to research your history, your family history, or just history, period. But two, as Veterans Day rolls back around, you have a whole year to do some research. Yeah, I think this is really cool. So I saw that. I was like, oh, I got to remember to ask Priya about that.
Yeah, it's neat. It's neat. We pick up, well, we have a wide range of databases to explore and work through depending on what topic you want to look into. But it's always really nice when we get something that's very, very centered on a specific topic, very focused, because for community members who are interested in that, it opens up a whole new world. And it helps, our staff get, more well-versed in that type of research, in what's on people's minds, what they're trying to research in our community. So that's really neat. Happy to have it. I'm still sort of getting used to it as well, because I've used Ancestry, but I'm not super familiar with a lot of how military records are organized. So for me as a library worker, it's a really useful tool as well. There was another one that I wanted to point out that's also similarly focused on Marwan. Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. So in one of the pages of Inspire, once you get it, toward the back, there's a little blurb about exploring your health using ProQuest Consumer Health Database. And so it's another one of our databases that we subscribe to that's focused on consumer health. So what that means is, as a regular person who isn't a health professional in some sense, how do you learn about health, or what you need to know about your body or medications or all of that really crucial thing, all those really crucial things. So the ProQuest Consumer Health Database, I will share my screen real quick. Let's get to my Chrome tab.
So is it kind of like WebMD a little?
Like a beefier version of that. Are you seeing my homepage right now?
I am.
Cool. Okay. So it's one of two health-centered research tools that we have highlighted on our website. So again, if you hover over research, you can actually just scroll right down to health, or you can click into research and get the full list of everything that's organized alphabetically. We'll just go straight to health because it's a little more general. And here are the two resources that we directly link out to. One is a database that you need to click through KRL Access. The other one here, Medline, is just a website that anyone can visit on any device. You don't have to go through our website. However, it's super. So we're highlighting it here, and I want to just very briefly go into both of these because there are lots of health concerns out there nowadays, as there have been for the past few years. I've been reading that this is a really serious flu season as well. And so, we've got COVID on our minds still. We've got the flu surging up.
Can I request one?
What was that?
Can I request one to look up?
Oh, yeah, of course.
RSV. That's going around Kitsap County and the rest of the country. And I don't remember hearing about that before. Now it's like, man, people are really sick from this thing.
Wow. Okay. So let's go into Medline. I always start here because I feel like it's a little bit more regular person friendly. And I count myself as that because I'm not a health professional. So you'll see just at the top here, medlineplus.gov is the URL, the website. It is brought to us by the National Library of Medicine. So this is an official government website. It is super reputable. It's fun. It's, full of information that's based in research from the National Institutes of Health. You see NIH in the corner. So this is a resource that we feel really confident sharing with others and having people dig into on their own. One of the neat things here, I'm going to skim down a little bit. I'm not a big word person when it comes to things. I always ask my doctor to sort of translate it down a couple levels. For me personally, I know a lot of people are like that. So the nice thing about Medline Plus is that you'll see a lot of, pretty user-friendly things, but if you scroll down a teensy bit, you see easy to read health information. And what that means is that most of on this website are also published in what's called simple language. So that means it's not like the huge drug names that you might need to know. It's kind of very much simplified so that you don't have to be a medical expert to understand what it's telling you, which is so important because it's really hard to understand all of that stuff if you don't have a medical background. So let's search for RSV, you said. I'm just going to type that right in there and see what comes up.
Bria, if you want to maximize your screen a bit.
Oh, sorry. Is that a little better?
One more time, maybe. Perfect.
Okay. Cool. All right. So once you see, I'll just orient for a bit. The logo at the top, you can always click to get to get back to the home page. We've got general categories up at the top. I typed in RSV into the keyword search bar right up here and just hit go. And it brought me to this results page for respiratory syncytial virus infections. Marwan, do you know how to pronounce that?
No.
So this is one area where I'm like, wow, I really am not a health professional. And I'll preface this all by saying, if you have a health concern, please do talk to your doctor or your health provider about it. This is just sort of provide you background information or some, general familiarity with, any sort of health question you might have. But if you are experiencing any sort of illness or concern physically in your body or someone please do get in touch with a health professional. That being said, this is a good place to learn about things before they hit you. So it looks like it brings you up one sort of main chunk of information saying, what is this thing that you searched for? And then if you scroll down a little bit lower, you'll see that there's quite a few results that include the term RSV. So you can sort of skim these headlines. You see this one's the one that's right above RSV tests, another page with RSV antibody tests. And so it's sort of things that include this topic. We're just going to go right to the top. This looks like a kind of a landing page for it. So I'll click read more here. All right, well, it's teeny tiny. Let's make that bigger. Okay, so you can see this little chain right here underneath the main menu bar up here. It says home, health topics, RSV infections. And so now you can tell how we can get to it another way. Under health topics, search for RSV. So everything is sort of linked to another part of the website. So we're going to see on this page, the basics, summary, start here. It's very useful. Learn more, which has specifics, links to research if you want to see like very hard medical background, how they got the information that's in this article. Find an expert. And then for you, if you want to find some more focused information for people in your life. So I'll scroll just very briefly through a summary of what it is. Looks like it's a common respiratory virus. Who is at risk?
Coughing or sneezing?
Yes. Spread through coughing and sneezing, direct contact, touching an object or surface with the virus on it. Marwan, maybe next time you have someone from Kitsap Public Health, they might be able to go deeper into it.
No, that's okay. Like I said, I don't know what it is, so I'm seeing it and I'm like, okay, so I'm learning while you're scrolling through it. So this is awesome.
Yeah. And this type of resource is also useful if you're hearing, like, for instance, if you're reading, news articles that say, hey, RSV is on the rise, you can come here and learn what that actually means. And so next time you speak to your health provider, you can say, hey, I'm learning about RSV and I know what it is now. Can you give me some more information? So it's really good for that background research or just saying, hey, I heard of this thing. What the heck is it? I'll scroll a little further down. You can see there's links to things on the side as well, and a medical encyclopedia, related health topics, and other things going on at the National Institutes of Health relating to this topic. You can see symptoms, diagnosis, treatment. I'm going very briefly here. I recommend you all come and look this up yourself if you want to deeper dive into it. And then several links to where to go to learn more. And so the nice thing about Medline is that they pretty much always will set, if they're linking you out to another resource that isn't Medline, they'll tell you where it's from and what kind of thing it is. So this is learn more about RSV from the American Lung Association, Recognizing RSV from the National Institutes of Health. This one is from the Nemours Foundation, is also available in Spanish. So you see they're really good at saying where we found something and if it's a reputable source. And it always is, because this is sort of like the most official place that we can go. So more resources about symptoms, diagnosis, trials, journal articles if you want to get really deep into the science behind it. And then links that are more specific, like for children, adults, and then also handouts if you want to be able to print those and hand them off.
Nice.
And then most importantly, again, the information on this site should not be used as a substitute for professional medical care or advice. Contact your healthcare provider if you have questions about your health. I'm going to say that a million times, and if anyone comes and asks for medical advice, I'll tell them the same thing. So this is really one really useful resource that we have. I highly recommend if you are curious at all about different health topics, or if, for instance, you're like prescribed something and you don't know what it is, or you want to learn more about it, you can always just click in here and sort of explore. The neat thing also in health topics is you can kind of work through parts of the body, which is really neat, or general topics. So highly recommend you come visit this website. I'm going to go back to research. And so again, Medline Plus, it's just medlineplus.gov. You don't need to come to it through our website, but we have it here just so you know it's trusted health information. The second one I want to highlight that was in Inspire is ProQuest Consumer Health Database. ProQuest is one of our research databases. You'll see it's listed a couple times in our full list of databases, but this one is specific for consumer health. What that means is you as a person wanting to learn more about health, not necessarily as a health provider. So it's going to be a little bit easier to understand if you're not from a medical background. So we're going to click into it here. And this one you do have to come to through our website. You can see at the top, it says access provided by Kitsap Regional Library. So you know you are in it through the library database. And then it sort of works similarly to Medline Plus, where you just have one big keyword search up at the top. You can go advanced if you want, but this is a good place. And this will search journals and magazines on all sorts of health topics. And you can see from sports injuries to women's health, food and nutrition and midwifery. So if you want something that's a little bit more of a deeper dive than Medline, this is a really useful resource as well. Yeah. And it's also great if you're like working on like a school paper or any sort of project research wise. Let's just stick with RSV and see what comes up. There'll be something. Okay. Now, like I said, these are journal articles, so they're going to be a little bit denser. However, this is a little closer to our other research databases. So you can see almost 4,000 results. You see it's mostly scholarly journals. So if you really want to get into like the hard research that's being done, this is the place to do it. And then just using one as an example, you'll see it's got the little cap that says it's from a scholarly journal. You've got the title, you can click into it. Author, the journal it comes from. So that's really useful if you're like doing a paper, for instance, you need to be able to cite your work. Tells you a couple sections of the paper where your keyword that you searched for comes up. And then a few options if you need to cite it or save it. You can keep track of your research as you're going.
That's for all your high school and college students. Teachers love to see you cite your work. Cite your work.
Yes.
Reputable sources.
Yes.
Reputable sources.
Yes. It also just makes sure that, I don't know, as library staff, we love to see that people are thinking critically where they're getting their information and seeing that work is cited. Like, for instance, back in Medline, you could see they linked out and says it goes to like the National Lung Association or something. Like, we want to know where you got it because that just proves you're thinking about things. So this will list all sorts of resources. You can narrow things down on the side here as well. For instance, let's say I want only full text, only ones that I could read the full thing of. Box it down a couple hundred. Let's say we only want magazines. How about that? Cool. A little bit more. And I'll say the magazines are usually a little bit more like regular person friendly.
Mm-hmm.
But so you can limit things on the side. And let's read today's parent. Okay. So what it looks like once you get into it, you'll see the title, author, abstract, just a like a paragraph or two telling you what the core information in the article is.
A triple demic?
So
That's terrifying.
I'll say this is from always read the full title and where it came from. This was published in November 2022. A brief summary, it looks like triple demic is COVID, flu, and RSV.
That sounds like here too.
Yeah. And scroll down and you'll find the full text of it. So if you'd like to read the full article, it's right all under here. And even all of the times that your search term is there should be highlighted. You can be like, oh, RSV, RSV, RSV. You can also download the PDF at the top in case you want to save it and share it or read it later. And then so similar resources on the side. So you can sort of use this as a jumping off point to learn more about this topic. So that's a little bit about this database, a little bit denser in terms of the resources you might get. If you're starting at just square one, what is this that I'm searching, than Medline, but both are really useful. They complement each other in a lot of ways. And I know that health is such a challenging topic to learn about, especially if it's own.
Mm-hmm.
So these are just two resources that that we're happy to provide because they're very thorough, they're highly researched, well vetted, and are really good places to start in addition to the recommendations from your health provider. So
You know what that makes me think of, Priya, is when you first started coming on to the Conduit, and we were talking about, misinformation, and, COVID was still, there was a lot of unknown factors. And this seems to go right to the root of, cutting away biases and opinion and going straight to, reputable journals and, getting that information. So should something like that happen again, you know that your local library has information that isn't politically biased and is just looking at research that is sent by reputable organizations and institutions, right? Then you can
yeah,
make an informed decision.
absolutely. And that's definitely a fantastic point, Marwan. It sort of all ties into like, yes, you can read as much about topic X as you would like, but it is, nothing's without context, right? If you're learning about something, but everyone around you in your life and on social media says something different, it's hard to know what's right. And we want you to feel confident in the information that you're getting, that it's good information, that you feel like you understand it, and that it is, accurate and reliable. So that's one place where we're more than happy to help. If you have any questions like, hey, I read something online, is this true? Or can you help me find out where this article came from? Or where's the body of research that this was based off of? We can absolutely dig into that with you. And that's not to say that these are the only two good resources out there for health. They're just two that we find really useful and accessible to the general public. But if you want a deeper dive or even a simpler one, we're happy to help with that.
So now, if I'm at the website myself, where do I go again? I'm gonna pull it up really quick. So
Yeah.
doing is learning for me.
Sure. Okay, so those are both under our research tab on the black bar across the top. That's where all of our research databases lie. And so you can either click on health, because those are the two health databases, or you can click research and just go through all of them alphabetically.
Auto
Health is,
repair.
yeah, so you can go there alphabetical down to health. It's sort of toward the bottom of your page there.
Career and job seeking, diversity, equity, and inclusion. Ooh, foundation and grant seeking. Look at all this good stuff in here. Homework help, Kitsap history, language learning. All right, let's go into health. Just wanted to highlight a few of those in there.
Of course.
Cool.
Yeah. So again, these are our two health-centric databases. The one on the left, again, is just like a website that anyone can access. You don't have to come at it through our website. And this is one where you can, it's a good place to start research on lots of things. Ooh, that's a big one, Marwan.
This is what I suffer from. And so if RSV is out there, and if you have a lung issue, then that can affect you.
Oh,
So
wow.
this is where I can get some more information. And, when I'm having conversations with Layla, this will
Mhm.
help me in my discussion, right? She can come and read some stuff on dad. Oh, and I see videos here, which is awesome, and images. So that's really helpful. So,
Totally. And one last thing I'll share. If you click back on the Medline Plus logo at the top,
okay.
yes, so we're back at the home page, and then scroll down toward the bottom of the page. And then on the far left side, you see easy to read health information. Let's
Yep.
click into there. So not all of the website is, like, I'll say, translated into simple language, but the majority of the stuff is. And so basically this is health information that sort of doesn't use a ton of really big terms, which is really useful for most people. So you can sort of click into these articles that have been reworded for just very simple entry level language, and they'll kick you out to resources that are, you know, really easier to understand. So if you're reading through these articles and you're like, this is kind of complicated, I don't really get it, some of the wording is a little bit much. Medline has done a really good job of being mindful of the type of language they're writing in, and trying to make it accessible to all types of folks. So that whole list of easy to read health information, that's sort of an alphabetical list that you can go through. Like, for instance, this one is a really good example. It doesn't use very technical language. It doesn't, throw around really complicated wording. It's much easier to understand. And that's health.gov, right? Yeah.
Uh, yep.
Neat.
And I
Yes.
and I clicked on this one because
Mhm.
the winter months, the gray, the cold, holidays can
Mhm.
cause a lot of stress for people, and you can take this little screener here, which is very encouraging. So
Mhm.
good information, and this was like literally seconds. Like, okay, so what can I do to help manage my stress? This is
Mhm.
awesome. So really quick and easy, and boom, there you go.
Yeah. So I'm glad to see you picked a good one there. That's just another availability within Medline. If health research can be kind of intimidating for a lot of folks. I feel
Mhm.
like that too sometimes. So it's great to see that they've made an effort to make it accessible to all types of folks. So
And
yeah.
it's also current, right? This was just updated in July, so,
Mhm.
the latest and greatest, which is awesome. And
Yeah.
giving you action items, things you can do, talk to friends and family. I love it. Get the help you need. Oh,
Yeah.
man. Tell you, man, the library is just full of goodies, and every month is something different. It just keeps building and adding and adding. And it's like, man, there is something here for everyone. And it's not that there's something here for everyone. There's multiple things here for everyone.
Yeah.
So come down, use the library, extended hours, 5 p.m. at most of the major libraries on Saturday, which is really awesome.
Mhm.
Stuff to do on New Year's Eve this year for the kiddos. Just a lot going on with the Kitsap Regional Library, 9 libraries all throughout the county. And they're all open right now, and they're all different and unique. But the one thing that they are very much the same in, they all have fantastic staff ready to help and serve with a smile. Look at that smile. That's a winner there. See, there you go. So
Wonderful.
as we kind of roll out today, I definitely want to wish you happy holidays
Thank
and
you.
safe travels in your trip.
Thank
And one of the things I saw in the research is, you know, the trunk of my car, the struts or whatever have failed on them, so it just kind of falls down.
you.
And
Ooh.
everyone complains. My daughter, everyone complains. I need to fix them. Now, supposedly this is like a $20 fix. Just order them on Amazon or go to
Mhm.
Amazon Supply or Shucks or something like that. I don't even know if they have those two. Pet Boys, whatever.
Okay.
Easy. So I wonder if we could go through that. Because, again, the library is such an empowering place for information and research and, do it yourself.
Mhm.
We could go through that in January. And I can actually get my trunk fixed.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to check it out. I'll be the first to tell you I'm not a car person, so I will need to do a little bit of background research to make sure I know what struts are. But I love getting questions like this because then I get to learn a little bit too. And I drive a car, so I should probably know this.
So what I'll say is I'm not a car person either. I can
Mhm,
do some basic things, and I can change a tire, do stuff like that.
mhm.
Um, but, and I could probably do this. This is pretty simple, to do, but I'm a procrastinator. Um, but I think it's just,
Mm,
another just showing the applicable ways that the
sure.
library can be such a powerful tool, for people to engage in and just make it fun,
Yeah.
and
Okay. Hey, I'm down. If anything demystifies the process, I'm more than happy to jump into it next month for
All
sure.
right, you heard it here first. Priya's gonna change the struts out in my trunk.
Oh gosh. We'll
That's
see
not
how it
what I
goes.
said at all. I said we're gonna research it.
Yes.
I hear what I want, I've got selective hearing. It's a
Fair enough.
gift. It's a Well, I do appreciate you coming on, and, like I said, have safe travels. We look forward to seeing you in January and, doing more things. Again, let me just put up the website here.
Mhm,
www.krl.org. Again, if you see that it's getting cold or if it's getting icy, do check with the website because they'll
mhm,
let you know whether or not the hospital, whether the library is going to be open or not. I
mhm.
will also try to post that information through the conduit as soon as possible. And so you can always subscribe at the conduit so that you can get all the up to date information. I always want to put out there, ask us, tell us the help desk that you can engage in. And right now, if you want some help picking out some movies, they're even doing that. So,
Yes.
if you need some selections, Die Hard is a Christmas movie. So put that
I'm
out
inclined to agree.
there.
Yeah.
So I mean that just sounds awesome, right? Don't know
Mhm.
what to watch this year. I'm sure they can come up with something that you haven't seen before or you haven't watched in a while and make it a real special holiday for you. So, especially if it's too cold to go anywhere.
I feel you.
All right. Well, with that, I'm going to say thank you to our awesome librarian, Priya Shari. I am Marwan Cameron, everyone. This is The Conduit, and we will see you tomorrow.